Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Today we have with us Miss Fariha Khalil. And before I introduce her, just a brief introduction about me. My name is Zishan Rahat Qureshi. I am the CEO and founder of High Achievers League. So, a little brief on Fariha. She's currently a Fulbright student at University of Washington doing her MA in Curriculum and Instruction with a specialization in language, literacy, and culture. Her former degrees from Pakistan are in MA Education and MA English, Linguistics and Literature. Fariha has worked in academia for 8 years in a variety of settings at positions involving planning and instruction, assessment and evaluation, and training facilitation. She has worked with students at the elementary level up until undergrads at academic institutions and with adults as well. Much of her career has centered around English language teaching, and that's her area of specialization and research in the US. So Fariha started her master's at University of Washington on Fulbright scholarship in 2021. So welcome Fariha, welcome to our program. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thanks for calling me, and thanks for the lovely introduction.
Most welcome. So Fariha, let's start with a few questions. So how did you develop interest in linguistics and in literature?
So, 8 years ago, I started my journey as a teacher more of an accident. It wasn't what I intended to do, I was specializing in something else. However, as I began teaching and as the career progressed, I eventually realized this is what I want to do in the longer run. Um, so that's how I decided that I wanted to be in academia. But as a teacher, I was usually allocated English as a teaching subject, not something that I liked initially. I was like a maths and science lover in school. But of course, when it falls onto us, we start preparing, we get into the depth of the subject, and eventually I came to an understanding that yes, this is a subject I want to teach. Plus, of
Okay.
course, it's one of the most important subjects in Pakistan. It's a subject that never gets old. So yeah, so much to learn.
All right, great. So interesting one. What was your first reaction when you came to know that you had been selected for Fulbright scholarship?
It's funny. I'm here in the US, but it's still hard to believe that I have been selected for Fulbright in the retrospect. So yeah, I couldn't believe it. All the steps that went along from selection till I left from Pakistan, all of it seems like a dream. Still seems like it never happened. Just happened in my head.
All right. So how did it all began? I mean, when and how did you make a decision one fine morning that you do want to apply for Fulbright?
So Fulbright came into questions, I would say 2, 3 years ago. It came into picture. But even before that, I knew that I wanted to come to the US. So US was the final decision. How would I come here? I had no idea. I wasn't aware of a lot of scholarship opportunities. I did not know how people apply because I didn't have any relatives or friends in the US. But I wanted to come here because this is considered the epitome of higher education, especially for PhD level or research, what we call it. So I knew about Fulbright as a teenager, but I didn't know what exactly it is. The first time I attended a Fulbright session was at the University of Karachi. It was arranged by USEFP, and they gave all these details, which made me further interested in the program. And that's when I decided I want to apply. So that would be 3 to 4 years ago.
Okay. And what was the most difficult part of this journey? That's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. You can take your time. Vese, I
I would
thought you
say
would say GRE.
it wasn't the hardest. No, I would say it was convincing my family. Yeah, that
Okay.
I
All
want
right.
to be away for 2 years, pursue my studies. that was the hardest for me.
And how has been your experience so far
With family or here in the US?
here in the US?
It's wonderful. Right from the first day. So I live in Seattle, Washington, which in itself is a very beautiful and well constructed city. I love the public transport system over here. I've never felt the need of a car. The university itself is a huge campus. The faculty is quite helpful and facilitating. They're always there for us. There's so many offices that we can reach out to. So it has been an amazing experience. Yet, of course, there will be always challenges. So that's something we need to be prepared for.
Right. So coming from Karachi, how are you managing and facing the weather there?
That's a tough one. There are days where I struggle to get out of bed or struggle to step out of home. But then it's still much better than somebody on the East Coast living in, say, minus 23 degrees centigrade. So that's how I brace myself up. And then we always have internal heating. So it's only bad when you're outside, which is 10, 15 minutes of walk to and fro. It isn't that bad.
All right, good to know. So, Fariha, what would you say to those, particularly women, who may be, sitting in some part of Pakistan right now and who haven't decided yet to apply for Fulbright because they think they won't get it? So, what would be your message to them?
This question hits hard because imposter syndrome is something that I still am dealing with. So फुल ब्राइट है, मैं यूएस आ गई हूँ, मैं पढ़ रही हूँ और अभी भी मुझे महसूस होता है कि ये सब कुछ सच नहीं है या शायद कुछ गलती हो गई। कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है कि मैं डिजर्व नहीं करती थी। तो ये सारी चीजें आपके साथ पूरी जिंदगी चलती रहेंगी। Please don't let all of these put you down and don't let all of these stop you from applying for a program. Whether you will get selected or not is upon the committees, so leave it on them. Don't stress about it. Just make sure कि आपने अपना best दिया है application में. And just look at the career prospects that this opportunity is going to bring to you, the exposure, the uh, networking opportunities, all of that is just beyond comprehension.
All right. So, students generally ask us about the criteria. तो आप कुछ शेयर करना पसंद करेंगी कि what's the criteria for selection Fulbright?
So Fulbright degree program दो हिस्सों में divided है और दो programs offer करता है. There is the master's scholarship and there is the PhD scholarship. For master's scholarship, you need 16 years of education, which is either आपके पास 4 साल वाला BS हो या आपने 2 साल का BA, BSc plus 2 साल का MA, MSc किया हो. So this is the eligibility for masters. PhD के लिए आपके पास 18 years of education होना चाहिए, जिसका मतलब है आपके पास एक MS डिग्री या MPhil की डिग्री होनी चाहिए, जिसकी बेसिस पे आप PhD के लिए अप्लाई करेंगे. वर्क एक्सपीरियंस मैंडेटरी नहीं है, बट आपकी एप्लीकेशन के लिए बहुत अच्छा इम्पैक्ट है. So it's always a plus to have it. I guess for some fields like MBA, there is a requirement for 2 years of work experience. Apart from that, the application itself, when I applied, that was an exceptional year. So there was a specific requirement for GPA because GRE was waived off that year. But usually GRE is the main requirement that you have to fulfill. एक minimum score USCFP की website पे मौजूद है already. Fulbright applications के time पे वो देखा जा सकता है. But try to score higher, aim higher, keep at least 300 as your borderline score, and then try to score 310, 320, whatever you can. The application itself consists of 5 main parts or 5 main elements, I would say, although it's a very comprehensive, detailed application. जिसमें से पहला है आपका ऐसे पर्सनल स्टेटमेंट, जिसमें आप बताते हैं कि आप इस फील्ड से कनेक्टेड क्या हैं, अगेन द पास्ट, प्रेजेंट एंड फ्यूचर. दूसरा ऐसे कहलाता है स्टडी रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. Why do you want to study specifically using the terms of the field? What would be the impact? What are you going to specialize in? How are you going to benefit Pakistan? And then you have 3 reference letters from your employers and professors. So these are the 5 main elements. GRE आप अपनी application submit करवाने से पहले देते हैं. If you get shortlisted, then you are sent for a TOEFL as well.
Okay, so what about the recommendation letters? Did you get all the recommendation letters from your teachers or one from your supervisor?
I got one from my supervisor because I was working already. When I filed for Fulbright, I'd been working for 6 years. तो मेरे लिए आसान था. और 2 रिकमेंडेशन लेटर्स, चूँकि मेरे पास 2 डिग्रीज़ थी, तो मैंने उन दोनों डिग्रीज़ में से एक-एक प्रोफ़ेसर से रिक्वेस्ट की थी कि मेरे लिए रिकमेंडेशन लेटर्स लिख दें.
So there are students who say कि जब उन्हें पढ़ाई खत्म किए हुए कुछ साल गुजर चुके होते हैं, तो it becomes a little difficult to get the recommendation letters from the teachers. So did you have any such problem, और ऐसी प्रॉब्लम अगर हो तो उसको कैसे रिजॉल्व किया जा सकता है?
2 चीज़ें हैं, एक तो ये कि थोड़ी ये एक सब स्टूडेंट्स के लिए ही एक रिकमेंडेशन है कि आप अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी के 4 सालों को या 2 सालों को सिर्फ़ इस तरह से ना देखें कि ये ख़त्म हो जाएँगे और उसके बाद हम चले जाएँगे और हमने इनकी इस जगह पे या इन लोगों से कभी मिलना नहीं है. इट्स अ वेरी स्मॉल वर्ल्ड. वी कीप रनिंग इंटो द सेम पीपल ओवर एंड ओवर. So right from the beginning, try and build relationships with your professors. They will not be there just for those 4 years or 2 years. अगर आपका relationship अच्छा है, so it won't be very awkward to ask them about letters of recommendation. So stay in touch even after you've graduated. But of course, in some cases, if it has been like 10 years, 15 years since you've graduated, you're a working professional, you have a work history of like 10, 15 years, then it's okay to send them from, like request your employers to send the recommendation letters.
All right. And any tips you would like to give to those students who get shortlisted for the interview?
Yes, stay calm, stay relaxed. It's very overwhelming. इंसान बहुत nervous हो जाता है, but practice as much as you can. I remember we were asked to submit a video essay, and I at least recorded 35 to 40 versions of the essay till the time I knew it was perfect. So practice till you know you've done your best. And once you're in the interview room, then forget about everything else and just focus on giving your best.
Okay, good advice. And what are your intentions in the future after you complete your degree and you come back to Pakistan?
So even before I came for Fulbright, I was teaching at the university level. I teach English language and communication courses to undergraduates. That's the position I see myself returning in. But apart from that, having specialized in English language teaching, I would also like to engage in professional development activities, engage more with my colleagues, and try to share my learnings from here.
Okay, so Fariha, any last word of advice to, the students watching who would be watching this interview? It can be anything. It can be from academia. It can be life skills. It can be, anything that can help them in their future. So over to you.
Um, I would say definitely try to have an experience where you step out of your comfort zone, move to another country for a few years. You get to learn a lot from it. So जितने भी challenges हैं, आपकी GPA, आपका confidence या आपके आसपास के लोग जो आपको बता रहे होंगे कि आपको apply नहीं करना चाहिए, please don't let all of those take you down and apply and keep applying. Even I got selected for my Fulbright in my second attempt. So आपको कोशिश करनी पड़ती है और आपको वक्त के साथ साथ अपने आप को इम्प्रूव करना पड़ता है. USEFP offers so many informative sessions. I have been a participant of these sessions and they have benefited me a lot. So keep applying, keep looking for resources. You don't even have to pay for them. So many of these resources are free, available on the internet. Take advice from seniors. If you are willing to put in all the hard work, you will inshallah succeed.
Okay, Fariha, thank you so much for being part of this interview. I really enjoyed, and I'm sure that students must have learned a lot. So, once again, thank you so much and
Oh,
best of
thank you for
luck.
having me. And I wish the best to all the students who are applying for Fulbright and other opportunities.
Thank you. Take care.